Yo Falcons faithful, buckle up because what I'm about to drop will either make you want to punch a wall or have you jumping off your couch with renewed hope. Picture this, a major sports network just delivered a devastating blow to our beloved franchise, ranking us near the bottom of the league barrel. But here's the kicker, there's a chess move happening behind the scenes that could flip this entire narrative on its head. And trust me, when you hear about the veteran All-Pro who just slammed the door on returning to Atlanta, you'll understand why this might be the best thing that ever happened to us. I'm about to expose 3 brutal truths about our current roster situation, reveal why a certain GM seat is hotter than Georgia asphalt in July, and explain how a shocking rejection from a defensive star could actually be our golden ticket to glory. But first, if you bleed red and black, smash that like button and subscribe. Let's show these doubters what real fan loyalty looks like. Only 2% of viewers actually subscribe, so let's change that right now. The Empire strikes back when national media attacks. Listen up, because this is where it gets real. A certain 4-letter network just dropped a bombshell assessment that's got every Falcons fan's blood boiling. They're saying our roster construction is basically a house of cards waiting to collapse. But before we dive into the specifics, let me paint you a picture of what's really happening in Flowery Branch and why this supposed disaster might be the wake-up call we desperately needed. We're talking about a front office that's been wheeling and dealing for 5 years, throwing money around like it's Monopoly cash, and what do we have to show for it? A ranking that would make even the Jacksonville Jaguars feel sorry for us. But here's what they're not telling you, sometimes you need to hit rock bottom before you can soar. And baby, we're about to take flight in ways nobody sees coming. Let's rip the band-aid off right away. Our entire season, our entire future, hell, our entire reason for waking up on Sundays rides on the left shoulder of a young gunslinger who's played exactly 3 meaningful games in the NFL. That's right, we're betting the farm on a southpaw with a rocket arm and ice in his veins, but also with question marks bigger than the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Think about this for a second. We watched our $180 million investment implode faster than a house of cards in a hurricane. The veteran we brought in to steady the ship? He didn't even make it through 1 season before getting benched. Now we're handing the keys to a kid who, let's be honest, looked solid against the Panthers, Commanders, and Giants. You know what those teams have in common? They're not exactly murderers row. But here's where it gets spicy. In those 3 games, our young QB showed flashes of brilliance that had even the harshest critics doing double takes. 51.0 QBR might not sound sexy, but for a rookie thrust into the fire, that's the kind of number that whispers future franchise quarterback if you're listening closely enough. The accuracy was spotty at times, sure, but the poise? The command? The way he stood tall in the pocket while chaos erupted around him? That's the stuff legends are made of. The range of outcomes here is wider than the Grand Canyon. We could be looking at the next great NFL quarterback, a lefty magician who rewrites the record books. Or we could be staring down the barrel of another lost season, another what if, another reason for therapy. The national media wants to focus on the uncertainty, but real Falcons fans? We see opportunity knocking louder than Arthur Blank's checkbook. Now let's address the elephant in the room that's been doing the cha-cha all offseason. Our secondary is thinner than gas station coffee. And I'm not talking about just any position group. I'm talking about the guys responsible for stopping elite receivers in a pass-happy league. You want to know why those rankings have us in the basement? Start right here. We've got 1 legitimate shutdown corner. 1. After that, it's a collection of maybes, hopefully, and pray to the football gods. The analytics nerds will tell you we allowed the highest catch rate in the league last year. Read that again. The highest. That means opposing quarterbacks were completing passes against us like they were playing Madden on rookie mode. Our supposed CB2 had a career year, which sounds great until you realize his career before that was about as consistent as Atlanta weather in April. The nickel position? We're banking on a rookie safety convert, a guy who got torched more than marshmallows at a campfire last year, and a corner who's probably better suited playing outside. If our top corner goes down for any significant time, we might as well put up a sign that says open for business in our secondary. But here's the thing, and this is where it gets interesting, adversity breeds innovation. When you're backed into a corner, pun intended, that's when creative defensive minds start cooking up schemes that confuse and confound. We've seen it before, teams with questionable talent on paper suddenly clicking because they're forced to think outside the box. Could this be our year to revolutionize defensive football? Stranger things have happened in the A. This one's gonna sting, but we need to face facts. Our GM's track record is shakier than a three-legged table at a frat party. Let's talk about those supposed draft victories everyone's been praising. Yeah, we got a generational running back talent. He's electric, dynamic, and makes defenders look silly on a weekly basis. But you know what we passed up to get him? A defensive lineman who's currently terrorizing quarterbacks at a position that actually matters in today's NFL. Don't get me wrong, watching our RB turn nothing into something is pure poetry in motion. The way he bounces off tackles, finds creases that don't exist, and houses screen passes? Chef's kiss. But in a league where running backs are becoming as replaceable as gas station sunglasses, did we really make the smart play? The division rival who snagged the defensive stud is laughing all the way to the playoffs while we're admiring highlight reel runs in meaningless December games. The first draft class under this regime? Complete disaster outside of one interior lineman who we couldn't even convince to stick around. The big-ticket free agent signing that was supposed to transform our offense? Benched before Halloween. The unicorn tight end we drafted 4th overall? He's looking more like a mythical creature every passing year, as in, his elite production might not actually exist. The plot twist, why a defensive star's rejection is actually our salvation. Now here's where this story takes a turn nobody saw coming. Remember that proven pass rusher we brought in last year? The 4-time Pro Bowler who was supposed to anchor our defensive front? Well, he just told us thanks, but no thanks to a reunion. Said it's probably unlikely he's coming back after we loaded up on rookie edge rushers in the draft. Most fans are crying into their sweet tea about this, but let me flip the script for you. This rejection might be the best thing that ever happened to our franchise. Why? Because it forces us to stop putting band-aids on bullet wounds. No more quick fixes. No more aging veterans on prove-it deals. We're being forced to build something real, something sustainable, something that doesn't rely on 32-year-old legs that have already logged 1,000,000 miles. Think about it, this veteran had 5.5 sacks for us last year. Solid? Sure. Game-changing? Not even close. Now we're rolling with hungry rookies who have something to prove, who aren't looking for one last payday but are fighting to establish their NFL legacy. The first-round edge rushers we drafted? They're not here to be rotational pieces, they're here to hunt quarterbacks like it's open season. This rejection is a blessing in disguise because it prevents us from making the same mistakes we've been making for years. No more recycling veterans past their prime. No more hoping Father Time takes a vacation. We're building young, we're building fast, and we're building angry. Sometimes the best addition is addition by subtraction. But wait, before you start planning your Sundays around something other than football, let me tell you about the powder keg of talent that's about to detonate. We've got offensive weapons that would make any quarterback salivate. A receiver duo that combined for numbers that had defensive coordinators losing sleep. A running back room that's deeper than philosophy class discussions. An offensive line that, when healthy, can open holes wide enough to drive a MARTA bus through. The receiving core? Our WR1 has all the tools to become a household name: size, hands, route running ability that makes DBs dizzy. Pair him with a speedster who can take the top off any defense, and suddenly our passing game has more layers than your grandma's lasagna. If our tight end can remember how to catch a football consistently, we're looking at a skill position group that rivals any in the league. The defense? Yeah, it's young. Yeah, it's improving. But you know what else it is? Hungry. Talented. Desperate to prove every single draft expert wrong. These rookies we're banking on? They're not thinking about contracts or endorsements, they're thinking about making every snap count. That's the kind of energy that transforms defenses from laughingstocks to legends. So here's the deal, Falcons Nation. The national media wants to bury us before the season even starts. They see our ranking and write us off faster than a bad check. They look at our GM's track record and see failure. They see our cornerback room and see disaster. They see a rejected veteran and assume we're desperate. But you know what I see? I see a team that's been forced to stop playing it safe. I see a young quarterback ready to prove he's worth the wait. I see defensive players with chips on their shoulders the size of Stone Mountain. I see an organization that's finally being honest about where we are and where we need to go. This isn't about sugarcoating reality. Our roster has more holes than Swiss cheese. But it's also about recognizing that sometimes you need to demolish the old house before you can build the mansion. We're in demolition mode right now, but the blueprints for something special are being drawn up as we speak. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Are you buying what I'm selling, or do you think I've lost my mind? Can our young QB lead us to the promised land? Will our defensive rookies step up when the lights are brightest? Is this rock bottom, or is this the foundation for something legendary? This is our year to embrace the chaos, to thrive in the uncertainty, to prove that rankings don't mean a damn thing when you've got heart, hunger, and a city that refuses to quit. Share this with every Falcons fan you know. Let's show the world that Atlanta doesn't just rise up, we explode up. Remember, they wrote us off, but we ain't written back yet. The 2025 season is coming, and when it does, don't say I didn't warn you about what's about to happen, Falcons Nation. Our time is now. Go Falcons!